So recently you went to Mammoth.
Yes, I did.
For you guys who aren't looking at her right now, if you're listening to audio version, I think she looks beautiful today. Miss Smith looks as her hair is done,
Oh,
her hair
thank
cut. Your
you.
hair looks beautiful today. So make sure I mention that on camera. Timestamp it.
Thank you. I have to give a shout out to Mary Lee at Dakara Salon in Woodland Hills. Thank you, Mary Lee. You always do an amazing job. Love you.
Good. We should give a shout out to people who do our hair and stuff. They're very finding a good hair person is gold.
Tough, believe me.
No, seriously. It's. I mean, I always. Well, we'll get to Mammoth in a second. I just want to talk about hair for a second because you and I have hair.
We have hair.
We
We
have
have a lot of hair.
We have hair. So to have somebody who knows how to cut it, style it, wash, all this stuff. It really is. It's like I said, well, if you find a good barber or hair person, hold on them for dear life. It's like finding a good gardener, a good plumber, a good just seriously, when they get to know all your because our hair does different things, different spots, and when they get to know that, 'cause I've had bad haircuts.
Well, yes. So have I.
Yeah.
Actually, so have I. But there have been two. Mary Lee is my current hairdresser, and she's amazing. And the previous hairdresser, amazing too. But she had a bad habit of always running behind. And I'm not talking like 15, 20 minutes. I'm not one of those folks, right? I'm talking like an hour. And she's like, it's going to be probably like another half hour. And I just couldn't do that. Yeah, that's stretching. I'm running behind,
Yes.
So thankfully I found Mary Lee and she's amazing. And when she's running behind, it's like the normal, people show up late in that business. Yes. You just got to go with the flow.
That's a good point you bring up, actually. When it comes to barber, hairstyle, if you're in a rush, there are places that do kind of have the rush kind of in and out thing, but most places aren't like that. It's very much like you just know you come in, and you have to wait a little bit.
Yeah.
And a lot of times there's people talking. I mean, it's usually a good atmosphere, things going on, but that's something you're right. You have to kind of when getting your hair done, it sometimes takes a little bit. It just does. There's like certain things they kind of get away with.
Yes.
Because when you leave your hair done, when your hair is done, oh, it's nothing like it. There's nothing. Seriously, when you come out, you walk out there, you look shit hot. You're like, oh my God. I love it.
I love the way you touch your hair. I love that. How you do that.
That's all. But you know what I mean? Like it's like you feel good. Like when your hair is done, especially if it's the way you want it to be, you're like, yes, they cut it the right length. It's falling the right way.
Yes.
There's nothing like it.
Nothing. The commercial, and I forget the shampoo, but the lady comes with gorgeous hair, of course, walking out of salon, and she starts tossing her head side to side, and the hair is flowing, and it's the sensation, just like you've walked out of a salon. And I'm like, I know that feeling.
Yes, you do, right? I do too.
Feeling.
I do too.
That's what you just described. It's perfect.
I think it's Pantene. Is it Pantene? Or L'Oreal, one of those two.
I'm not sure of the brand, but they had a great commercial.
Yeah, no, but you walk like even when I used to have a shaved head, I would get a newly shaved head. It was lined up. It was like you just got pep in your step. You're just like, I'm ready to take on the world, bitches. I'm ready. I'm like, that's right. I look good. So it's just one of those things. I just think that I just always say so. Shout out to hairdressers, hairstylists, barbers. It's not an easy job. I know it's not an easy job. I know a lot of friends who've been doing it for years who get varicose veins in their legs from standing so much, hand things because we're doing all this, and difficult customers because it's your hair.
Yeah,
you mess up someone's hair. I'm sure it's not cute. But anyway, so you went to Mammoth recently, which I've never been, and we went to talk this. I've never been. See, I didn't know in California for like half my life, so I never. We went up to Lake Tahoe all the time or Reno, but I never went to Mammoth. So tell me what you want to talk about a little bit. So what was going on with the Mammoth? You had a good time?
Had a great time. We stayed with friends who have a cabin on Lake George, and it's kind of a special thing to have a cabin because there's so few. On the Mammoth Lakes.
Oh, okay.
So this cabin had been in the family since the late 1920s. So they passed it on generation to generation. And they've got this great spot. So, and you actually have like a shoreline where the lake is, and you can fish from there, or just go in with, yeah, you can just go in with your kayaks or your boards or whatever it is. It's a great spot. And the weather was beautiful. You know, you're up like 8,000 feet.
Okay.
So, you know, for those of us who are sensitive to,
you are. Yeah.
allergies and all that, just bring all your meds and you'll be fine. Like, you know, your nose sprays and your Legras.
I forgot you are a sensitive allergy person.
Very sensitive to the environment. And so we get there, it was raining, beautiful sunset Friday night. I mean, it was magnificent sunset. And then you wake up on early in the morning and you get up and everybody's happy and teaming around, and you know, you just kind of hang out and enjoy life. And we took a couple boat rides on the lake.
I love boats, love boating.
And on Saturday we saw probably the largest bear I've ever seen in my life.
That's scary.
Yeah. So, well, the bears though in Mammoth, the yes, it is scary.
They're fine, James. They're great. Bears are fine.
But they're like these tame wild animals.
Okay.
They're very casual about their going on. So they'll, you know, people, they're so used to people. They know where all the people fish lakeside. So they just come through and steal fish. And, you know, there's a whole picnic area on Lake George too. And the bear just sat on the table and ate somebody's lunch. Why they
okay. Like, hi, food's here.
Yeah, but they're very casual. If you though haven't been around bears, it'll scare the shit out of you.
Oh, well, for me it would. I'm not around bears, so I'm like,
there's no joke. Like no joke. They're there, and so we saw this massive. We think is a male, biggest bear I've ever seen, and so Les dubbed him Sir George.
Okay,
that's his
river. Got it.
That's his unofficial name is Sir George. Okay. So then Saturday night we're sitting in the living room by the fireplace, right? And there's a window behind Les and I, and there's a window to the left of Les and I see this movement, and I'm like, there's a bear. The bear shows up on the patio and literally is looking in the window. And it's like, I saw the motion of the bear kind of like getting itself up on the windowsill. So the paws are on the windowsill, and the bear is just like, hey, you know, kind of looking in. And I'm like, there's a bear.
That is okay. First of all, I want you to paint me a picture. So when you say big, we're talking 8-foot bear, probably 7-foot bear.
Well, Sir George was, he was big. He's very big, very, very big. So I don't know. And I was at a distance because we were in the water. We were on a boat in the water. So he looked a little bit smaller from where our vantage point was, but he's a big bear. Like he's the biggest bear I have ever seen.
Okay.
And so,
yeah, go ahead.
But so yes, I don't know how tall he stands. Well, here's what I'll say for the viewing community.
Yes.
He had an ass that was gigantic. And that's kind of how a layman can judge the size of a bear. If the ass is huge, it's a big bear.
That's hilarious. Okay, yes. Big ass bear.
Big ass bear. Literally big ass bear.
Literally.
And but he was super like chill, which is the strangest thing. I know it sounds weird, but that's how it goes.
Okay.
And so that night, Saturday night, we have the bear encounter on the patio. That's a little bit more serious because you don't want the bear. Yeah. You don't want the bear to come into the cabin.
No.
So we were able to scare the bear off. But what I had noticed was it had, which is odd, coloring. It had like a white patch at the time. It was like a tan patch, and it was a brown bear with tan patch. It was not Sir George. This was a smaller bear.
Okay.
The interesting thing is we have 2 labs with us, and on each side of the patio, you had dog gates, right?
Okay.
They were undisturbed, James.
Oh.
We don't know how the bear must have jumped over them. Now, mind you,
stepped over them and said, excuse me, I can do this.
Excuse me, right? But we never heard a thing. The only reason we knew a bear was on the patio is because we saw it. We didn't hear it.
That's crazy. But were you guys like
So
having?
that was
Did you have
scary.
like TV on or music? Like were you like just doing
No,
something in the house?
no,
Oh,
no TV at the cabin.
very nice. Okay, I like
Yeah,
that.
no,
I like
no
that.
TV at the cabin. No, there's so many wonderful things to do. You don't need TV. And by the time the sun sets, you're actually really tired and want to go to bed.
Yeah,
Um,
I get that.
so yeah, so we had that bear encounter. And then the next day, Sunday, as we're leaving, we took one final boat ride and we spotted a mom and her cub.
Okay.
And funny enough, she had the light coloring on her chest, and so did the
Oh,
cub. So it was her. She was on the patio
okay.
looking for something, probably, she got the cub with her. Thank God nobody walked out on the patio
Oh, I
because
know.
bears, and cubs and the viewing, community, this, you
Yes.
don't ever approach a bear when they have a cub, ever.
Oh no, never. Yeah, okay, folks. Well, say that again for folks in the back if they don't understand it. You don't do that.
Don't ever approach a mama bear when her cub is present because you will probably not live to tell the tale.
Yeah.
So yeah, so we had these bear encounters. And you do normally see the bears when you go to Mammoth Lakes, but now it's like, there you could clock them.
Well, I mean, is there a big bear population up there?
Yes, there is, because they stopped hunting the bears some time ago, and I think now they issue a regulated number of tags.
Okay.
But the population has definitely grown. And like I said, they're used to people. They see people as a food source. So they're not out to necessarily attack you at the picnic tables. They're just going to know that people are going to run away and leave their food behind.
Right. And so they go, here's our food, here's our chance.
So they go, here's the food. Yes. Yeah.
I had to explain to somebody who didn't know this, or just didn't know, that you have to certain populations you have to control because there's so many of them, like deer.
Yeah.
And I was trying to
Yeah.
explain my old farm and ag experience. As I explained to them that they go to Achilles, I go, you understand, there's so many of them, they breed so much, and they're big. I said,
Yeah.
I've had deer come near a car and I was scared shitless because they could hurt your car. They're that sturdy. Many deer are that sturdy. And I explained to them that you have to actually curb, they have to hunt to actually curb the population. There's so many of them. Yeah. So they encourage hunting season to happen. Usually, I know up north, a lot of times it's in November or whatever they do it. It's just there's so many, they breed so much. And I heard about bears too. There's a lot of bears in certain areas. There's a lot of them. So it's not probably inhumane or anything. It's just kind of like if they overrun it, they'll overrun your towns and everything. There's just so many of them.
It's population control. And I know that has a negative connotation, but it's absolutely necessary. Yes. And if you think about folks who have yards, I mean, when you put out mice traps and rat traps and gopher traps, and you're controlling the population around your space because they can be very destructive. No different with the bears and the deer and the elk and everything else. They can be very destructive if they overpopulate.
Yeah, I had to be careful which kind of fruit trees I put in my yard. They said it would attract certain rats. They would come. They said you put too many, then it becomes like an orchard of some sort or whatever. And then a lot of citrus will attract a lot of rats, not mice, rats.
Yes,
I was like, night. I've seen rats, I don't like them, but I know, but it makes sense because I was in Hawaii. There were a lot of rats in the sugarcane fields, the banana fields. And then I know it's like the cornfields too. There are a lot of corn rats. There are rats out there too. So you have to be careful. But so here I have I have a few that are spaced out. So I haven't seen any. Fingers crossed so far.
Fingers crossed.
Like when I was in Pittsburgh, it was Rattopia over there. I was like, okay, I get out of here. But anyway, so that's the population. So it's funny. I'm glad you said that. People always think because they're smaller, it's something different. But no, they can really, really, deer and bear and all those things can really overpopulate. And then you're screwed. You can't do anything. But I don't know. I've never had a bear encounter that was just like, I've never had a bear encounter, period. But I've never had one that's just casual and oh my God, on the porch. So for me, it sounds so like, oh my God, are you running for the hills?
Well, it is, oh my God. But if you panic, that's worse. And so,
you're right. Panicking like
but if you've got a bear coming in the house, you better know where the other exit is, because you don't want to get trapped inside a cabin with a bear. Like, that's the last thing you.
Yes. That didn't even sound good. I'm like,
no, but it was their beauty. The funny thing about bears is, to me, these bears in Mammoth, they look like gigantic dogs because of their attitude and their demeanor. You have a bunch of people that are just taking pictures and calling out, and they're just like ignoring everybody, and they're just going about their business. And it lulls you into a false sense of security, which we have to remind everybody, these are wild animals, right? I'm not going up and poking the bear. So, I'm very well aware that if they feel threatened, they're wild animals, they could attack. But when you see the mama and the baby cub, walking around and foraging for food and everything, it's kind of a special thing.
Oh, that's cute. But again, those folks who want to touch it.
Yeah,
good luck. So cute. I want to go. Don't do it. Don't do it. It's not cute.
It's not cute.
We want you to live.
We do.
We want you to live the telltale. So it's fine. So how long you guys were up there? You got there for how long?
No, we just went up for the weekend. We drove up Friday morning and left midday Sunday.
How long does it take you to get up there from where you live?
About 5 hours. It's a 5-hour drive.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's not a bad drive. 5 hours sounds like a long time to be in a car, and trust me, it is. But when you're going to Mammoth and you have something to look forward to, it's not that bad.
Yeah. No, when we drive from Sacramento to Tahoe, it was 2 hours. To Reno, 3 or 4. But it's just so pretty up there. I mean, like you're driving a lot of winding roads. It's kind of scary a little bit, but it's actually, you're seeing nature.
Yes.
8 hours driving down the 5 from Sacramento to LA was boring as F. We did it all the time. Oh, I hated that drive. Oh, we did it all the time. We always stopped in Santa Nella or Santa Maria, get something to eat, pee, whatever. Then continue in. I mean, I could do that drive. Once we did the drive in 5 hours and 30 minutes once.
What?
We left at 2 a.m.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. And flew. We stopped once, briefly to pee, and that was it. My girl Michelle, it was we wanted to get here. We wanted to get to LA. We wanted to party. We come here to party.
Right.
But it was just so funny that that drive is boring. It's not an exciting drive at all. And so you said that, I was like, yes, there's some drives, or driving to Vegas. It's not exciting. From LA,
no,
boring drive. I've done it many times. It's boring.
Well, very boring.
Boring. They're boring drives. So at least you're seeing stuff.
Yes, stuff for sure.
Yeah, destination. It's beautiful. I've done the same thing in upstate New York. Driving from New York to upstate, it was like, it's very pretty. Yeah, like you're seeing leafy things.
Yes. And the one thing that you have to be mindful of, James, because you haven't been, is on the way to Mammoth, you stop through Bishop, Lone Pine, Independence, and Big Pine. And they have posted speed limits, and you have to slow down. They make a very good living ticketing all of us out of towners.
I'm sure they do, right? I'm sure they do, right?
And they're like, some of them are like a little post stamp. They're like these quaint, cute little towns. So, and they start going speed limit 55, and then speed limit 45, and then speed limit. So they give you time to downshift, if you will. But if you're not doing 35 miles an hour by the time you hit the city, that tiny little city limit, you're going to get a ticket. And so it's funny to watch people who don't know that, and they get so frustrated with you, and it's like, trust me, I'm doing you a favor.
I'm telling you some kids, keep a lookout.
Yeah. I'm not actually following the speed limit because it's something I want to do.
Right. Hello. Thank you. Right. Exactly. I think because I'm telling you, and I am telling you. It's funny. I haven't been really to any mountainous area in Southern California in over 40 years. So because for 22 years I lived in Northern California. So my mountainous areas were Shasta, Crescent City, Oregon, or like say Lake Tahoe, Sparks, Reno. I just didn't live down here. So I've been here 13 years and I've never gone to the mountains.
James, Do yourself a favor.
I probably need it because I've gone to Yosemite. My friend had a cabin in Yosemite. We had no cell service for a week. I was there for 7 days.
Yeah. Now, let me stop you there. Was that refreshing, or did you hate not having cell service?
Loved it.
Right.
I got to the point where I was afraid. I actually had an anxiety attack of my phone coming back on.
Wow.
We got closer. We were leaving Yosemite, and we were getting closer and closer into some kind of civilization. I don't know where we were. And I really felt like I felt this anxiety attack, like, oh, like I have a week's worth of messages probably coming up. I mean, I told somebody I was going out of town for a week, so it wasn't as many as as it could have been because they knew I was out of town. But I did. It was like ping, 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 and my friend was excited. He was like, he couldn't take it anymore. For me, I was like, I have no responsibility.
Yeah.
Like, literally anything. I mean, yes, anything can happen. No one can reach me. But on some level, I was like, I don't give a F.
Right. I was excited too. I'm in your camp. I love the idea of not being able to be reached because I actually get to spend time where I'm at without distraction. And because so much of our day is distraction, I don't know how many times a day I'm working and I will automatically just kind of look down at my phone because we've trained ourselves to be crazy people. That's it.
I was on my phone 10 times since we've been on here, so I know exactly what it is.
It's just crazy. It's just crazy.
I mean,
and so
my phone has notifications.
Yeah.
We just go.
Oh my God, clear that. You got to clear that.
But I'm saying that's an example. My phone dings and pings and pangs all day long.
Yeah.
So to go somewhere where that doesn't happen, whenever I'm out of service somewhere, I'm like, I don't care. That's good. It's fine with me. I'm like, screw all y'all. I don't want to talk to you anyway. It feels good. It feels good to have just like that.
Yes.
Cleanse.
Yeah.
And being in nature. And see, luckily I don't have allergies like this. I was say for you, I don't know how you do it. For me, I don't have allergies, so I can be out in nature and smell everything, and it doesn't really bother me. And the cabin, we had a really nice cabin, and we had deer. We didn't have any bears. We had deer. We would feed them. They said, "Don't feed the deer." We did anyway. I don't care. We had lettuce and stuff for them, and they loved it. And they were really nice. They were calm. They just called us while you just like, here you go. Yeah. Business. We saw some turtles running around, whatever. So it was fine. Or tortoises. So that was fine, and rabbits. And so I was like, for me, it was like I like nature. I think I'm secretly a nature boy. I love nature. When I came back to the city, I was happy to be back in the city again. Of course, I like the city, but I was like, but for 7 days, for me, I really did miss my phone. I took pictures of stuff. I couldn't post them. That was a weird thing at first. So my habit would be and post it or send it to somebody. I said, "Oh, look at this! I can't do that." So I was like, "Good." So I just stored all these pictures and asked my trip. I almost like the old days, look through your camera, look all your photos, and then
present.
Oh,
look at me. Yeah. So it was a great trip.
Very good.
And how I do it, James, is I fully medicate. So.
Hey, that's how I do it. There you go. Y'all Claritin,
and if the medication's working, I too can take in a big breath and smell nature without hacking or sneezing.
Puffy eyes. Yes, exactly.
Puffy eyes were the worst.
Allergies. I've had some allergies here and there, and I'm like, and my one day of an allergy, I'm already crying. And I'm like, I don't know how you guys do it, have multiple days. And my brother-in-law, just certain air things get in the air, and you can just tell progressively he starts to get worse and worse, and runny nose, and all allergies. I'm like, I don't know how you guys do it. It happened to me a couple of times, and I wanted to just pull my face off. I don't know how you guys do it on a regular basis. I know it's so annoying. What it is so annoying.
It is annoying, and it's annoying to think that you have to think about it. Do I have my nose spray? Do I have my Allegra? Do I have my this? Do I have my that? And you have to be the one in the group that has to sneak away to take your medicine. It's just kind of, but the alternative is I want to go. I want to have fun.
Right.
And, I'm also sitting here having had sinus surgery because I had issues.
Right.
So I take it very seriously because I want to go out and I want to smell the cut grass, James. I do.
And I know you do. I'm sure you do. I mean, it's because it smells nice.
Yeah.
you know, and
Yeah. And
roses.
golf is tricky. So I
Oh,
have to
yes.
look
Yeah, that's right.
because I spend four, if I'm lucky, I spend 4 hours, sometimes mostly five, um, smelling the grass and the trees and the pollen and all that fun stuff. So I just decided I'm going to live, and you learn what medicines work for you,
Yeah.
and you just kind of suffer too a little bit. You know, there's a give and take there.
Yeah. I know I mean, you adjust. I know that you
You do
adjust,
adjust, but
but
I
it's
highly recommend the Eastern Sierras to all of our listeners and our
okay.
friends and family. If you haven't been, it's a great 3-4 day trip. Really, it is a great 3-4, and you just reconnect with yourself in nature. The air is so clean and crisp.
I'm sure. Oh, I'm
The
sure.
trees, just beautiful. It's just so pretty.
Yeah. The air part makes me excited. It's the air. We live in Los Angeles. So it's a clean air.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's just you can eat it. So clean you
Yes.
can eat it. And that's where we're and here. I am, of course, this coffee conversation with James.
And Melissa.
Go ahead and follow us on any audio streaming service platform. We are there. Spotify, Google, Apple, Deezer, Podbean, podcast, whatever, anything has podcasts. Just go ahead and just type in coffee and conversation. And chances are we will pop up. I don't think there's any other coffee and conversations. But if there's one, then type in James and Melissa, and it'll come up. We're on my YouTube channel, JLJ Media, the fastest growing channel in the planet. I just deemed that. Lots of shows on there also. If you are into Star Wars or Star Trek or Marvel or soap operas or organizing or life coaching or music or acting or whatever, I have shows for you. So just go on there and check out over 50 shows of kind of stuff. I'll sell merchandise. This is why my shirts. Go to jljmedia.threadless.com. We're adding designs every day. So check that out. I want to thank my first customers last month. I made a little bit of money. So thanks, customers, for doing that. I'm very appreciative of that. We're trying to get into the business of selling stuff, of course, for you guys, because we appreciate you being a fan of JLJ Media and of our show. So our show is growing also. So thank you for listening and or watching, or both. We'll see you next time in another episode of Coffee and Conversation.